I have a love-hate relationship with food. On the one hand, I love baking, breads, cakes, cookies, you name it. If it's carbohydrate loaded and produces an overdrive shift to the olfactory senses, I'm there. Naturally then, the holiday season is my ideal season. A welcome excuse to bake myself silly, to bask in the accolades of my coworkers and the welcome yummy noises of my beloved husband. I love to bake. On the other hand, there's a problem now, which has complicated not only my beloved holiday season, but a large part of my social life as well. The problem being, quite simply, that I cannot eat. Somewhere between health and now, just over 3 years in real time, my digestive system surrendered its given duties in favor of idleness. As a result, I get all of my nutrition through a permanent IV line that delivers concentrated nutrients into my bloodstream at night. I've had surgeries and life-threatening infections, and my husband and I have had the end-of-life talk far before most of our peers. The condition is called gastroparesis. Break the word down and you have gastro, stomach, and paresis, paralysis, basically stomach paralysis. There are numerous causes. For me, it's a nonspecific nervous system failure, which is progressively invading my entire digestive system in addition to other vital functions. Regardless of the cause, mealtimes become a constant source of tension and apprehension, with a side order of psychological torture. Now, not being able to eat is tedious enough. Think about the last time you missed a meal, and the headache or crankiness you experienced as a result. Now imagine sitting around that laden Thanksgiving table as a dozen or two friends and family members sate their healthy appetites with the most succulent festal foods known to man, and being fundamentally excluded from participation. That's where I live. Until you're starving, literally, it's nearly impossible to notice how prominent food is in our lives, nutritionally, socially, emotionally. We meet our friends for lunch. We feast at Christmas and Thanksgiving. We stock candy for Halloween. We invite friends over for dinner. We take our dates to restaurants. We go out to honor birthdays and anniversaries. We have potlucks at church. We provide snacks for social events. We give plates of cookies to welcome new neighbors. We participate in the Lord's Supper. We eat to celebrate, to mourn, to socialize, to distract, to romance, to commemorate, to comfort. Food is everywhere. As an ex-anorexic, I knew before gastroparesis how prevalent food is in our society, but the complete elimination of eating from my daily life made this prevalence nearly excruciating. I began to deeply resent that central place that food occupies in our lives. I resented how my husband and I had to start putting stipulations on our social engagements to avoid the angst of watching others eat. I resented my coworkers microwaving their diet dinners 6 feet from my desk. I even began to resent various inanimate objects like peanut butter and salad bars in Mexican restaurants for the audacity of their very existence. Now, having worked in hospitals for several years, I know that from the outside of a health crisis, it's natural to wonder, how do they get through this? How do they keep going? From the inside, it's pretty clear. You just do. You do what the doctors tell you, you research what you can, you muddle through the emotions and facts and try to keep them relatively separated in your head. And surprise, surprise, minute by minute ticks by and you find that you're still alive, still living, still surviving. Not to say that sometimes it isn't easier than others. Sometimes the minutes dance by amid friends and laughter and brief periods of non-health related attentions. Other times they slog away on tortuous aromas of baking bread, savory gravies, and every other olfactory assault on my pureed palate. I never know how my body will respond to such once pleasant experiences, whether it will begin the salivation process in spite of the established hopelessness of the response, or if it will remember the last time I fought the nausea and lost. My body and I frequently travel on different, often opposing avenues, one refusing to yield right away to the other. The result is usually a T-bone collision with a stake through my heart. It's nearly impossible to describe the chaos of mind, will, body caught in the blender of appetite and desire. After all, isn't it my God-given right as a human being to enjoy daily sustenance? It's right there in the Lord's Prayer. Give us this day the indulgent delight of our fresh-baked, warm-from-the-oven daily bread, straight from Scripture. I know it. At the time the Lord's Prayer was first spoken, sharing a meal served as a covenant seal between two parties, not an insignificant purpose for a good dinner. And for 2,000 years, participating in the Lord's Supper has continued to bring believers together as a community while reminding us of our covenant with Jesus Christ as our Redeemer. So in spite of my yearnings for pizza and sushi or even a simple sandwich, and regardless of the resentment that I still tend to feel when confronted with food and eating, I have a renewed appreciation for the essential role meals play in community. And while I may still indulge in the occasional pity party, which, by the way, is the only party where food is never served, I will raise my glass in celebration and thanks this holiday season. So while you're taking in the sensory overload of the holidays, stop for a moment and savor it all. The aromas, the family and friends around the table, the champagne slipping lusciously over your tongue on its way to warming your belly. Food is more than physical nourishment. It can, indeed, nourish the soul as well.